Hi students, good morning. Today's lesson is about conditional sentences. There are 4 types of conditional sentences. 1. Zero conditional sentences. 2. First conditional sentences. 3. Second conditional sentences. 4. Third conditional sentences. It's important to use the correct structure for each of these different conditional sentences because they express varying meanings. Pay attention to verb tense when using different conditional modes. Use a comma after the if clause when the if clause precedes the main clause. Let's look at each of these different types of conditional sentences in more detail. Zero conditional sentences express general truths, situations in which one thing always causes another. When you use a zero conditional, you're talking about a general truth. Consider the following examples. If you don't brush your teeth, you get cavities. When people smoke cigarettes, their health suffers. When using the zero conditional, the correct tense to use in both clauses is the simple present tense. First conditional sentences are used to express situations in which the outcome is likely, but not guaranteed, to happen in the future. Look at the examples below. If you rest, you will feel better. If you set your mind to a goal, you'll eventually achieve it. Second conditional sentences are useful for expressing outcomes that are completely unrealistic or will not likely happen in the future. Consider the examples below. If I inherited $1 billion, I would travel to the moon. If I owned a zoo, I might let people interact with the animals more. Third conditional sentences are used to explain that present circumstances would be different if something different had happened in the past. Look at the following examples. If you had told me you needed a ride, I would have left earlier. If I had cleaned the house, I could have gone to the movies. These sentences express a condition that was likely enough but did not actually happen in the past. The speaker in the first sentence was capable of leaving early, but did not. Along these same lines, the speaker in the second sentence was capable of cleaning the house but did not. These are all conditions that were likely, but regrettably did not happen. Use of the simple future in the if clause. Generally speaking, the simple future should be used only in the main clause. One exception is when the action in the if clause will take place after the action in the main clause. For example, consider the following sentence. If aspirin will ease my headache, I will take a couple tonight. The action in the if clause is the aspirin easing the headache, which will take place only after the speaker takes them later that night. The verb phrase were to is sometimes used in conditional sentences when the likely or unlikely result is particularly awful or unthinkable. 1. If I were to be sick, I would miss another day of work. 2. If she were to be late again, she would have to have a conference with the manager. 3. If the rent were to have been a penny more, they would not have been able to pay it. Thank you students, today's lesson is over. Let us meet in the next class.